sorry, boss. Hey, sorry guys, it got touched. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. There was some technical issue. And let me read the question again. He thought the video is getting continued. A block of mass 10 kg is dragged across a horizontal surface by pulling the block with a force of 100 Newton by means of a cord as shown. By means of a cord as shown. Here this is a cord. Assume that this is a cord. You are pulling the block of mass 10 kg by applying a force of 100 Newton. 100 Newton. The cord is inclined at an angle of 60 degrees. So it is making an angle 60 degrees with the horizontal. This 60 degrees is with the horizontal. Fine. So given the coefficient of friction between the surface, horizontal surface, and the bottom of the block is given as 0.2. So what is the acceleration of the block? This is the question. And data I have written here again. Data is given as mass is given as 10 kg. Applied force is 100 Newton, which is making an angle 60 degrees with the horizontal. Theta is equal to 60 degrees with the horizontal. Mu k is given as 0.2. I need net acceleration on the block. Net acceleration on the block. Fine? Net acceleration. Let's see what we can do from here. Let me erase the question. Let me erase the question. Right? Let me erase the question. I have written the data. And I'm asking the formula for net acceleration on the block. Now, acceleration I want. So when you try to resolve this force into components, this is horizontal surface, this is 10 kg. Here you have applied a force of F is equal to 100 Newton, which is making an angle 60 degrees with the horizontal. Here mg is also given, that is mass, that is 10 into, let me take g value I will take as 10 meter per second square for my simplicity. Right? I am considering g value as 10 meter per second square. Right? So here mg, this is nothing but mg is nothing but 10 into 10 is equal to 100 Newton. This is weight of the block. And here normal force will be acting in the upward direction. Force exerted by the surface on the block. And this normal force is balanced by mg because there is no vertical motion. But here there is an extra force. You are pulling this block by means of a cord with a force of 100 Newton, which is making an angle of 60 degrees. Then this F is resolved into two components. One is the component of force touching the angle F cos 60 degrees, and the other one is F sin 60 degrees. Is it not? F cos 60, F is given as 100. So 100 into cos 60 is 1 by 2, which comes out to be 50 Newton. And F sin 60 value is, F sin 60, 100 into sin 60 is root 3 by 2. Is it not? Root 3 by 2, which comes out to be 50 root 3 Newton. This is the value of this is the value of F sin 30. F sin 30 is 50 root 3. F is equal to 100 Newton. Now here mg is not balanced by only the normal force. Mg is balanced by sum of these two forces. As there is no vertical motion of the block, so net force along y-axis is 0. There is only horizontal motion on the block, so that when the block is moving towards right side, frictional force will be acting towards left side. This is Fk. Because the block is in motion. because we want acceleration. Block is in motion, so Fk will come into picture because mu k is given. Mu k is given means what? Block is in motion. Block is in motion. Now let us find out along the vertical direction. Along the vertical direction or along y-axis. Along y-axis, I can write normal force plus F sin 60 must be equal to what? Mg. This is general form. This is general form. I want normal force. Normal force I don't know. Plus F sin 60 already I got as 50 root 3. Let me write 50 root 3 as is. I will put the value of F sin 60 degrees, which is equal to 50 root 3. Is equal to weight. How much you got, Nana? 100 you got. From this, N is equal to 100 minus 50 root 3 Newton. This is Newton, this is normal force. Don't get confused. Normal force is equal to 100 minus 50 root 3 Newton. This is the value I got. But what is the formula for frictional force? What is the formula you have for frictional force? But Fk is equal to mu k into N. Normal force value is how much? 100 minus 50 root 3 Newton. So let me put all the values. Mu k is given 0.2 into 100 minus 50 root 3. This is the value of kinetic frictional force. This is the value of kinetic frictional force. Fine. Now if I take root 3 value as 1.732, 1.7, 0.2 into 100 minus this 50 into 1.732 Newton. Since root 3 value I am taking as 1.732. Now if you calculate this, what you will get now? 0.2 into 100 minus 100 by 2. Can I write like this? 100 by 2 into 1.732. So that calculations becomes easy. And calculations become easy. So 0.2 into in both, if I take 100 as common, if I take 100 in both as common, so what I will get is 1 minus 1.732 by 2, which is equal to a decimal and 0 gets cancelled. 2 into 10 is 20. 20 into 1 minus this value is 0.866. 0.866. So what I will get now? Which is equal to 20 into 1 minus 0.866 will be 1.000, 0.866, which comes out to be 4, 1, 6, 7, 3, 10, 1, 8, 9, 1, 10. Yeah, 0.134. If you calculate this, which comes out to be 24C8, 236, 212 into 10. So I think that this value is 2.24C8, 236, 21. Let me write it this. 268. 2 into 134 is 268. 268. 2680 and 2.68 Newton. This is the value of frictional force. But in which direction this block is moving? This block is moving in the direction of 50 Newton. It is moving horizontally. So what is the net force? This is along y-axis. I have calculated the value of normal force. From normal force, after getting normal force, I have calculated the value of kinetic friction. And then, if you remember, the net force is acting along the horizontal direction, is it not? So, I can write net force is equal to, I can write like this, F cos 60 degrees. Okay, I mean, just do one thing. Let me erase this. So let me write here. Here net force along x-axis, because it is moving along the horizontal direction, is net force is equal to, here frictional force is there, is it not? So F cos 60 degrees minus Fk. F cos 60 is 50 minus frictional force, how much you got? 2.68, which comes out to be 50 minus 2 is 48, 48 minus 0.68, 47 point, I think 32, 47.32 Newton. This is the value of net force. But I want acceleration. Therefore, net acceleration is equal to net force upon mass. What is mass of the block given? 10 kg. So which comes out to be 47.32 by 10, which is equal to 4.732 meter per second square. Meter per second square. This is the final answer. 4.732 meter per second square. This is the answer. Let me write another question. Right? Okay. So this is another question. Let me read the question. A body of mass 25 kg is at rest. 25 kg is at rest on a horizontal surface. Minimum horizontal force required to just start motion. This is very important. The body is not in motion yet. So what is the minimum force that you need to apply? Minimum force is given as 73.5 Newton. This is the value of minimum force required to just start its motion. That means this is nothing but limiting friction, because body has not yet started. Body is about to move when you apply a force of 73.5 Newton. If you apply a force of 73.5 Newton on the body, then the body is about to slide down. That means limiting friction will come into picture because the body is not yet in motion. Right? So limiting friction value is equal to this applied force, because it is a self-adjusting force. Static friction is a self-adjusting force. It reaches a maximum value of how much? 73.5 Newton. And a force of 49 Newton is needed to keep the body moving with a constant velocity. After this force, the body started moving. That is the reason here he said keep the body moving. Body is in motion now with a force of 49 Newton with a constant velocity. Velocity remains constant. What are the values of μs and μk? Question itself is lengthy, but it's very simple if you understand the question. So here a body is there. I am assuming body as a block. When you apply a force of, no angle is given, so I am just pulling it horizontally with a force of 73.5 Newton. Then this is the minimum force required to pull the block or body to slide down. Then maximum limiting friction, maximum value of friction will be acting in the opposite direction. That friction is called as limiting friction. This applied force is equal to limiting friction. Now the body is about to slide down. Right? So I can write like this. Limiting friction is equal to μs into N. Now here mass of the block is given, I think, 25 kg. So weight is acting vertically downwards. Normal force is balanced by weight of the block. So I can write like this. So μs into mg Let me take G as 10 again. For my convenience, I will take G value as 10 meter per second square. Let me take G is equal to 10 meter per second square. Now, the limiting friction is equal to 73.5. So, 73.5 is equal to, you have to calculate the value of μs into mass of the block is given as 25. 25 into G I will take as 10. Find out the value of μs from this. Find out the value of μs from this. So what happens? Let me erase the question. Find out. So what will get? μs is equal to, this is first bit. μs is equal to 73.5 divided by 25 into 10, which is nothing but 735 divided by 25 into 100. Or if I write like this, 735 into 4 divided by 25 into 100 into 4. I am multiplying and dividing with 4 so that I will get in zeros in the denominator. Now if you multiply 735 into 4, so which implies μs is equal to 4 5 is 20, 4 3 is 12 to 14, 4 7 is 28 plus 1, 29, 2940 I think. Yeah, 2940 divided by 100 into 100. I will get 10,000, which comes out to be 0.294. This is the value of μs. This is the value of μs. Now, what is another one you need to find out? You have to find out the value of μk as well. But this time, you no need to apply 73.5 Newton again, because already the body is in motion. When the body is in motion, right, if you remember the graph, the kinetic friction will be constant. Kinetic friction, if you remember the graph, in the graph I told you, I have explained. This is applied force, this is frictional force. The graph looks like this. Till here, this is maximum limiting friction. Till, here you got Fk. Kinetic friction becomes constant. Kinetic friction remains constant. Remember the graph, which is very, very important. Final. So, second bit, you have to find out μk. μk is equal to how much? μk is equal to how much? Now, we know that Fk is equal to μk into normal force. Right? This Fk in the problem is given as 49 Newton. Given because it is moving with constant velocity now. It is moving with constant velocity. So from this, okay, let me write Fk. Fk is equal to μk into normal force is balanced by mg. Right, from this I can write 49 is equal to μk into mass of the block is how much? 25, right? Yeah, 25. So 25 into 10. Solve this to get the value of μk. μk is equal to 49 divided by 25 into 10. In such cases, what you have to do is, whenever 25 is there, multiply and divide with 4, so that calculation becomes simpler. Right? So what I will do is, I will write μk is equal to 49 into 4 divided by 25 into 10 into 4. What I am doing is, I am multiplying and dividing with 4 now. Right? So that 25 into 4 becomes 100. So that I can write all zeros in the denominator. So 49 into 4, 98 into 2 is 196. 196 divided by, here you will get 10,000 again, which comes out to be 0.0196. This is the answer. 0.0196. Fine. This is another question. See, yeah. Now I have given you one more question. Just go through the question problem. A car is traveling on an inclined road of inclination 30 degrees. Okay, let me give you this. This is the figure given in the problem, but theta is given as 30 degrees. Let me round off. Theta value is given as 30 degrees. This is theta. With a speed of 27 km per hour. It is moving with a speed of 27 km per hour initially. If the engine of the car is switched off, how far up the plane? It is moving upwards. Car is moving upwards. Right? Car is moving upwards. How far up the plane will car move before coming to rest? Before coming to rest. You can ask why I have put frictional force in this direction, because the moment when you turn off the engine, as it is moving upwards up the inclined plane, the moment when you turn off the engine, car will come back. When the car is coming back down the plane, frictional force will be acting in the opposite direction. Relative motion between the tires of the car and the inclined plane. So Fk will be acting in the upward direction, right? And the coefficient of friction is also given between the tires and the road. All the tires, coefficient of friction between all the tires and the road is road. This is road, right? 0.4. That is given. So how far up the plane will move? I mean, still how much it will move before coming to a stop? Before coming to stop, right? So in this case, what you are going to do? Before coming to stop, in the sense, of course, yeah, I mean, car is still moving upwards, right? Car is still moving upwards. Car is still moving upwards. So let me take the friction, mu k as 0.4. Right? What is velocity given? Let me erase the question so that you can start doing. If you want, you can do this. Try this. What is angle of friction given? What is angle of friction given? Not angle of friction, angle of inclination. Theta is given as 30 degrees. This is given. Initial velocity, I think this is given as 27 km per hour. You have to convert this kilometer per hour in meters per second. So 27 into 5 upon 18 meter per second, 9 2s, 9 3s, 15 by 2, which comes out to be 7.5 meter per second is the velocity of the car initially with which it is moving. And what is mu k given? Because car is in motion, so mu k is given. Mu k is given as mu k is equal to 0.4. This is also given. This is also given. All these three. And what is final velocity before coming to stop? So v is equal to 0. This is also given. Now how to find out acceleration? How to find out acceleration? This Fk should be in the downward direction, is it not? Actually figure is given like this, but Fk should be in the downward direction, because when the car is still moving upwards, frictional force will be opposing. Right, Fk should be in the downward direction. Actually, it is shown like this, right? But that figure is wrong in the textbook. So this is the correct one. Now, what is the force opposing the car, motion of the car? Force opposing the motion of the car is nothing but frictional force. force opposing the motion of the car. Motion of the car is in the upward direction. Which forces are acting in the downward direction? mg sin theta and Fk. Both are acting in the downward direction, is it not? So I can write like this. Force opposing the motion of car is equal to mg sin theta plus Fk. This is normal force. But Fk is equal to mu k into n, is it not? So mg sin theta plus Fk is nothing but mu k into n. Mu k into n. Since Fk is equal to mu k into n. But normal force is balanced by which component? mg cos theta. So therefore, which comes out to be, is it visible? Okay, mg sin theta plus mu k into mg cos theta, because normal force is balanced by mu k mg cos theta. Sorry, mg cos theta. Now what I will do is, I will take mg as common. Anyways, you know this formula, I have told you. Force opposing the motion, let me write F is equal to mg into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Mg if I take as common, sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Is it not? Now find out the value of acceleration. Anyways, it is retardation, because the moment you turn off the engine, final velocity has become 0, right? So I can find out the value of acceleration. Therefore, I can write like this. Acceleration, see, m into a, in place of a what you have? Acceleration is equal to negative, is it not? Already I have given this formula as well, if you remember. What is the formula? Minus g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. But I can write down the retardation value. I can write down, therefore, retardation is nothing but negative acceleration. Retardation is equal to negative of acceleration. Negative of acceleration is equal to minus of minus g into what you will get? G into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Now let me take here g value as 10 meter per second square for my convenience. G I will take as 10 meter per second square. Right? Retardation, let me find out. Final velocity v is equal to 0. Right? This is the value of retardation. But what I want, distance travel. What is how far? He is asking how far the car is moving. How far the car is moving before coming to rest. How far the car will move before coming to rest. Right? Let me take g is equal to 10 meter per second square for my convenience activity. If it is not mentioned, then you have to take g value as 9.8 meter per second square. So therefore I can write retardation is equal to g 10 into sin 30 degrees plus what is your mu given? I think 0.4, right? Mu value is given as 0.4 into cos 30 degrees. Retardation, you will get some value. Sin 30 is 1 by 2 plus mu k, I can write this one as 4 by 10 into cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Right? 2 1s, 2 2s. So So 10 into 1 by 2 plus 2 root 3 by 10. If you expand this, 10 into 1 by 2 is 5 plus 10 gets cancelled, 2 root 3. So this is the value of retardation. Root 3 I will take as 1.732, 5 plus 2 into 1.732. If I simplify, I will get 5 plus, is it visible? 5 plus 2 2s 4, 2 3 6, 2 7s 14, 3.464. Okay, let me write here. So finally, I am getting the value of retardation, because this is for supposing I am writing. Retardation is equal to, what I got is 5 plus 3.464 is 8.464 meter per second square. This is the value of retardation. Okay, this is the value of retardation. But anyways, you know the formula. Using v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. Retardation is equal to 8.464 meter per second square means what? Acceleration is negative. So in place of a, I can put a negative value. That means, which implies I can write a is equal to minus 8.464 meter per second square. So let me write like this: 0, because velocity is 0, final velocity is 0, minus u, how much you got? 27 kilometer per second. What you got is 7.5 whole square is equal to 2 into a value is minus 8.464 into distance traveled that you have to find out. What is the distance traveled by the car before coming to rest? So which implies minus 7.5 into 7.5 is equal to minus 2 into 8.464 into s. Minus gets cancelled. So s is equal to 7.5 into 7.5. You do the calculation and do let me know. Divided by 2 into 8.464. 7 8 56. 56.25 divided by 2 4 8, 2 6 12, 9, 2 8 16, 17 point. Is it not? Is it correct? 2 4 8, 2 6 12, 9, sorry, 2 8 16, 16 points. So approximately, let me take this as 56 by 70. Approximately 56 by 70. This is approximately 3 point you will get. 17 3 is 51. 50. Again, let me take this as 3.3 meters. Approximately, roughly you are getting the distance travelled by the car as 3.3 meters. Fine. This is another numerical. Yeah. Very important problem, very important application. This is a bowl problem, or I can say bowl numerical. This is the question. Anyways, let me read. This is a hemispherical bowl. Here I have an insect at the bottom. Let me consider this as insect. This is insect. It wants to try to come out of the bowl, but the moment it reaches to certain height, or the moment it reaches to certain angle from the vertical, it falls down again. So at what angle insect slides? At what angle insect slides is the first question. Second question is, at what height the insect slides as shown. This much is the data given, right? So can I consider, if I consider this as hemispherical bowl, can I consider this as a radius? This is also radius. In hemisphere, radius remains same throughout. If I construct a sphere, radius remains same, is it not? So this is also radius. This is also radius. I don't want to draw many radius, right? So that we will get confused. Insect of mass m, so its weight will act vertically downwards, right? Now it starts crawling. It is crawling on the hemispherical bowl. It wants to try to come out of the bowl. Let's say it reaches this point. Insect reached here, making an angle theta with the vertical. This theta I want. And then the moment after reaching here, it slides down. It is sliding down, right? That means when it is sliding down, this is the maximum height it has reached, right? So let me take this height as h. I want this height also. So remaining height is how much? From here to here, this height is till here to here, r minus h. Can I write like this? R minus h, because total height is r. Height raised by insect is h from the bottom of the bowl to this point. So remaining height is r minus h. I want height also. I want angle theta as well as I want this height h. Now till here only the insect reached, and again when it is sliding down, the frictional force will be acting in this direction. This is the value of frictional force, and this frictional force is nothing but limiting frictional force, because the insect is about to slide down at this point. When it is about to slide down at this point, it has reached a maximum value of static friction called limiting friction, right? And how the weight of the insect will act at this point? Weight always, remember, at any point you take weight always acts vertically downwards. So let me represent weight of the insect acting vertically downwards. Let me erase this now. This is insect crawling on the hemispherical bowl. Now this mg is resolved into two components. One is normal to the or perpendicular to the bowl, surface of the bowl, and the other one is along the bowl or parallel to the surface of bowl. If this angle is theta, this will be theta, then this will be theta. This angle is also theta. This angle also becomes theta, is it not? If this is theta, this will be theta, vertically opposite angles. And these two are interior alternate angles. Now mg is resolved into two components. One is normal to the surface of the bowl, which is nothing but, anyways, you know very well, the component of weight touching the angle gives cos. So mg cos theta, and this one is mg sin theta. Fine? Right. Anyways, I don't want to show you this. Now here, this bowl exerts a force on the insect that is called as normal force. Now I can say that these two, because the insect is about to slide down. When the insect is about to slide down, that means insect is at rest only. Insect is still at rest. but it is about to slide down. That means it reached maximum value of static friction called as limiting friction. Under equilibrium, I can say that this limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sine theta. Is it not? Under equilibrium, limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sine theta. Right? Or let me write in the other way, mg sine theta is equal to limiting friction. But what is the formula we have for limiting friction? Mu s into normal force. Since limiting frictional force is equal to mu s into normal force. But normal force is balanced by which component of weight? Mg cos theta, which is equal to mu s into mg cos theta. So this is nothing but mg sin theta. Since normal force is balanced by mg cos theta. Now can I cancel anything? mg gets cancelled. So you remain with, bring this cos theta to left side. Sin theta by cos theta is equal to mu s. Is it not? From this, mu s is equal to sin theta by cos theta is tan. But I want theta. What angle? What angle insect slides? So from this I can write theta is equal to tan inverse of mu s. Remember this as standard formula. So what is the answer? So in the numerical, if you are given the coefficient of friction between the insect and the ball has some value, then he'll ask what is the angle at which the insect is about to slide down. In better way, at what angle insect is about to slide down. Insect is about to slide down. Right? So angle I got theta is equal to tan inverse mu s. Remember this. What is next question? At what height the insect slides as shown? What height? This height I want. Now you know very well, from this right angle triangle, this is 90 degrees. Okay, let me put like this. O, A, B. From right triangle O, A, B, what is the value of cos theta? Cos theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side upon hypotenuse. What is adjacent side? OA. OA is adjacent side, by hypotenuse is OB. But what is it of OA from the figure? OA is R minus H. And OB is what? OB is nothing but radius, is it not? Wherever you draw, all this line from the center becomes radius. So this I can write as R minus H upon R. Let me take this as equation 1. What I want to find out, my interest is to find out the value of H. So cos theta is equal to R minus H upon H. Sorry, R minus H upon R. Fine? R minus H upon R. Note it down. Now from this, let me take, what is it of tan theta we got? But tan theta is equal to mu s, is it not? So from right angle triangle, if I take this as theta, tan theta is equal to mu s is nothing but mu s, which implies tan theta is nothing but mu s by 1. That is opposite side upon adjacent side. For this theta, opposite side is mu s, adjacent side is 1, so that hypotenuse becomes 1 plus mu s square. 1 plus mu s square. Right? So from this, what is the value of cos theta? From this right angle triangle, therefore cos theta is equal to adjacent side 1 by hypotenuse is root over 1 plus mu s square. Let me take this as equation 2. Right? From these two equations, LHS is same in both. I can equate RHS. Is it not? If I equate RHS, what I will get? From equations 1 and 2, I can write from equations 1 and 2, we get R minus H by R is equal to 1 by root over 1 plus mu s square. I want height. From this, split this into, divide this. R by R gives what? R by R. 1 minus H by R is equal to 1 upon root over 1 plus mu s square. Take this minus H by R towards right side and bring this towards left side. What I will get? 1 minus 1 by root over 1 plus mu s square is equal to H by R. From this, H is equal to R into 1 minus root over 1 plus 1 by root over 1 plus mu s square. So, in a given problem, if radius of the ball is given, coefficient of friction is given, to find out H, this is the formula. If you want, you can remember this as a standard formula. H is equal to R into, you can also remember this. Sometimes, without giving the coefficient of friction, simply he will give radius and theta, angle will be given. Once you know the angle, from here also you can write down. Once you get the angle, you can remember this formula as well. You can find out height from this formula as well, directly. Without calculating the value of mu s, you can find out the value of H from this formula, where once you know the value of angle. Fine. Remember, anyways, you remember this one also if you want. I cannot remember all the formulas. Try to remember all the formula, maximum formula. Try to remember. Fine. Let me go to another problem, another important one. Yeah, this is another question, Anna, very important question. This has been asked like a couple of times, or more than a couple of times in the competitive exams. Ball problem was also important. Right? Insect crawling on a ball just now in the previous example. This is also important. A body takes n times to slide down a RIP. RIP stands for what? Rough inclined plane. Than on a smooth inclined plane. SIP stands for smooth inclined plane. What is the relation between mu and theta? This is the question. A body takes n times to slide down. What does this mean? What you have understood? Takes n times to slide down on a rough inclined plane than on a smooth inclined. He is talking about time. Time taken to slide down on a rough inclined plane is given as n times time taken to slide down a smooth inclined plane. This is the given condition. This is the given condition from the problem. Or you can consider this as an application. If it is given like this, you know the formula for time taken to slide down a rough inclined plane, and also you know the formula for time taken to slide down a smooth inclined plane, right? If you remember, just recall. Let me write the formula. Time taken to slide down a rough inclined plane is nothing but root over 2L by G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. For smooth inclined plane, if you don't remember what you have to do, you have to put mu k is equal to 0, because smooth inclined plane deals with frictionless surfaces. Frictionless surfaces, ideal case, right? On frictionless surface, Fk is 0, so mu k is also equal to 0. And time taken to slide down a smooth inclined plane is equal to root over 2L by, when you put mu k as 0, this entire term becomes 0. Simply you will get like this. Put these two values here in this given condition to solve the relation between mu and theta. Can you try? Pause and try. Let me do this. So let me put these two values in this. Therefore, I can write root over 2L by, I am writing this, G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta is equal to square root of 2L by G sin theta. Now taking squaring on both sides. Squaring on both sides, then what you will get is, this is equal to what? N times. This is equal to n times square, is it not? N times. Squaring on both sides. So what I get is 2L by G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta is equal to n square into 2L upon G sin theta. You can cancel 2L, you can cancel G on both sides. Now if you solve this on cross multiplication, sin theta into 1, here this, if you take this like this, so sin theta into 1 is equal to n square times sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Solve this. Is there any mu term? Right? Yeah. So sin theta into 1 is equal to n square into sin theta minus mu. Okay, from this, n square is equal to sin theta upon sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Is it not? N square is equal to sin theta by sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Now what I will do is I will divide the numerator as well as denominator with the cos theta. That means n square is equal to sin theta by cos theta whole divided by sin theta minus mu k cos theta divided by cos theta. That means what I am doing is I am dividing numerator as well as denominator with cos theta. Now I can write in this way, n square is equal to, let me erase this. So n square is equal to sin theta by cos theta is tan theta divided by Sin theta by cos theta is again tan theta minus mu k into cos theta by cos theta is 1. So simply what you get is mu. Tan theta minus mu. On further simplification, if you simplify further, what you will get is cross multiplication n square into కొంచెం అందంగా రాయాలనుకుంటున్నాను tan theta minus mu k is equal to tan theta. Rearrange the terms. N square into tan theta minus mu k n square. Mu k n square is equal to tan theta. Right? Fine. Now rearrange again such that tan terms will come to one side and take the other terms towards the other side. So n square into tan theta minus tan theta, if you bring this tan theta towards left side, it becomes minus tan theta, is equal to minus becomes what? Plus mu k into n square. From this, if you take tan theta as common, n square minus 1 into tan theta is equal to mu k into n square. Now from this, mu k or simply mu, you can write mu k as mu also. Mu k is equal to what you get now? N square minus 1 upon n square into tan theta. From this, mu k is equal to n square by n square is 1 minus 1 by n square into tan theta. If you want, you can remember this formula as well as a standard formula, provided when a body is taking n times to slide down on a rough inclined plane than on a smooth inclined plane. This is the case. Remember this as a standard formula. Mu k is equal to, remember this is simple, 1 minus 1 by n square into tan theta. Fine. Let me give you one more important model. So this is another question, important model. I have considered an inclined plane and inclined plane I have taken as AC, and B is the midpoint of inclined plane AC. B is the midpoint of inclined plane AC, and the block of mass M is resting on the inclined plane at the top edge, that is at point A. It slides down the inclined plane of length L. Total length of the inclined plane is L. But here the inclined plane is in such a way that half of the portion of the inclined plane is smooth. This portion AB is smooth now. AB is said to be smooth. Smooth means what? Frictionless. The moment it starts sliding from B to C, here friction exists. BC portion, BC has friction. BC is a portion where friction exists. From B to C, friction is there because this is rough surface. I can say that BC is a rough surface. So in the same diagram I have shown you SIP during first half portion, smooth inclined plane, and BC is rough inclined plane during the other half portion. That means first half portion is the length L by 2 where friction doesn't exist, and during second half, during the second portion BC, which is rough inclined plane, there where friction exists. So mu k will come into picture. Question is, body starts from A, right? Initially it is at rest. So body starts from A at rest and comes to C, finally becomes rest. Finally becomes rest, right? So comes to rest at point C. Comes to rest at point C. Then find mu. I want the value of mu during the portion BC. So question is, block or body starts from rest or from point A at rest and comes to halt. Means what? It is again coming to rest at point C. Find mu during this portion. Anyways, block is sliding, so kinetic friction will come into picture when this block slides. Is it? So during first part AB, during first part, let me write. During first part AB, as there is no friction at all, right? During the portion AB, this portion AB, initial velocity, that is velocity of the block at A is equal to 0. At point B, I don't know velocity of the block at point B. So velocity of point B I don't know. But distance covered is how much? Distance covered is equal to L by 2. And what is the acceleration of the block sliding down a smooth inclined plane? Acceleration of the block sliding down a smooth inclined plane, if you remember, its formula is G sin theta. Remember this. And what is the formula for acceleration of a block sliding down a rough inclined plane? G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. During the portion AB, I am writing. During the portion AB, acceleration of the block sliding down a smooth inclined plane, whether it is sliding down or moving upwards, formula remains same, G sin theta. But when it is moving upwards, you will put minus sign because it will be retarding. So G sin theta, right? Now can I find out, can I substitute these values in the equation using V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. What is V? Final velocity is VB. VB square minus initial velocity is 0 is equal to 2 into G sin theta into L by 2. 2 gets cancelled. I am getting VB square value as GL sin theta, or I can write VB is equal to square root of GL sin theta. Right? Till here you copy. And now, after reaching point B, it has to travel remaining half of the portion BC, that is L by 2, which is rough inclined plane. Right? So now during the second portion, during the second part BC, or second portion BC, what is velocity at point B? Initial velocity you have to consider at point B, final velocity is 0. So velocity U now is equal to VB, is equal to how much you got? Root over GL sin theta, and velocity at point C, it has come to halt, it has come to rest. So velocity, final velocity is 0. Down the plane, acceleration, what is the formula you need to take? acceleration down the, okay, what is the distance covered? Distance covered is L by 2. Now this time you have to consider acceleration down the rough inclined plane as g into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. We know that. Remember this, these two are important formulas. Acceleration down the plane along the rough inclined plane is g into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Right? Now let me put the values again. In v square minus u square is equal to 2as. And what I'll get? Using v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V is what? 0. Minus u is nothing but vb, which is nothing but how much? Root over gl sin theta whole square is equal to 2 into, what is your acceleration? 2 into g into sin theta minus mu k cos theta into distance traveled is how much? L by 2. In place of s I had right L by 2. So 2 gets cancelled. Minus, if you square this, I will get minus gl sin theta square root, and square gets cancelled, is equal to, what is remaining? G into L. gl into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Now can I cancel gl on both sides? gl gets cancelled. You remain with minus sin theta is equal to sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Sin theta is equal to minus mu k cos theta. And here angle of inclination I did not mention theta. And this, let us take the value of theta as 45 degrees. You can take any angle, but remember the general formula. Right? I want the value of mu, is it not? I want the value of mu. Fine. Now what happens? When you take this minus sin theta towards right side and minus mu k cos theta towards left side, you will get mu k cos theta is equal to sin theta plus sin theta, 2 sin theta, is it not? From this, mu k is equal to 2 sin theta by cos theta, which comes out to be 2 tan theta. This is the general formula. So, general formula, standard formula to be remembered when the block is covering half portion of the inclined plane, which is smooth, and the other half is rough inclined plane, then the value of mu k is equal to 2 tan theta. But here I have given the value of theta as 45 degrees. Since theta is equal to 45 degrees, then mu k is equal to 2 into tan 45. Tan 45 degrees is equal to 1. So 2 into 1, which comes out to be 2. This is the value of coefficient of kinetic friction. Fine. So let me wind up the class for today. Thank you all, and just go through the video once it gets uploaded. Bye. Take care.